welcome to this week's video. Now, coming up in this week's video is me playing a Strat and me playing a Les Paul and me playing a 335 and me... Forget that. This is ridiculous. I'm going to give away the whole content of the video. The whole point of this video is I'm going to try and justify my guitar collection. I mean, I don't know who I'm trying to justify this to. I mean, you know, there's a few of them hanging up behind me. There's a load of them over there. And I often get asked, how many guitars have you got? And the actual genuine answer is, I don't know. Because there's a few fuzzy ones, like do I count my first guitar that I ever had that I've got in the garage? Or do I count... I've got some that I got given. I don't. Do I count them? Or do I count my good one? I don't know. I don't know how to count it, but I'm going to justify this by saying I played 6 of them last weekend, and I'm going to show you the first clip here of me playing a Strat. Now this is, I've cut out the vocal bits because otherwise the video gets copyright things. This is Voodoo Child, and I was quite pleased with the way this came out. On this one, it's just a camera on the floor, so it's a terrible camera angle, but I've got the audio was all properly recorded on my desk, which I've spoken about before. Check the video out there for the one that I use. It's an Allen Heath CQ18T. So this is all multi-tracked and properly mixed the audio. So check this one out.
Tom Walker. There's nothing like a bit of background music, is there, ladies and gentlemen? Like, just while you're chatting.
My pedals nearly went from Burton off the front there. So So there we are. That's the first thing I wanted to show you was the Strat. I'm quite pleased with the sound of that. That's using my Milkman amp through my standard pedal board, which I covered in last week's video if you want to check that one out. So, onto my guitar collection. Now, this is a tricky one, isn't it? Because you explain this to a non-guitarist, they go, they all sound the same. But that's not... They don't sound the same, we know that. But the point is, they all make you want to play differently. So, the 335, I mean, it's a hollow-bodied one. I justify this in different ways. So, I do stuff in my studio here at home. I have to do I do session stuff, and I have to make things sound different ways. So, immediately I can cross off the ones that I definitely need. I've got to have a nylon string. I've got to have a 12 string. I've got to have a 335 if I need to do something jazzy or something. That's the closest I've got to a jazzy guitar. What else have I got to have? Bass 6. I've got to have a bass 6. I've got to have a normal bass. I mean, look, I've justified 5 of them already. What else do I... Oh, I've got to have a steel string acoustic, obviously. I need something I can do rock on. That's the Les Paul, isn't it? Covered there. I mean, you've got to have a Strat, haven't you, to get Strat sounds. What if I have to do country? Telecaster. I mean, I don't need 3 of them, but my Telecaster, which is over there. Right, I've got up to 9. I've justified those. What about the others? Before we move on to the others, here's another clip of me playing the Les Paul, and I think you'll agree, it sounds very different from the Strat. So there's the Les Paul. Now, let me show you these couple here. Now this is a tricky one to justify in some ways. This was my first ever Fender Strat. This is about a 1988 American Standard. And I got this when I was, I can't do the math, 15 or something. And I've never sold it. And I don't want to sell it. It's my first guitar. It's all beaten up. And really, it's worth more. I dropped it, so it's got a big crack in it. That was fairly recent. I've had it refretted. It's great to play, and I use this on gigs. Now, say for example, here's a good justification. If I was going to fly somewhere, I wouldn't want to take my custom shop Strat. I'd probably want to take this Strat because it's not as valuable. Anyway, does that justify that one? That was my first guitar. I don't want to sell it. So what about this one? This is a different guitar. Hang on. I'm not going to stop the video and cut it like I normally would in this situation, because this is... Well, you know, the untrained eye, this might look like the same guitar, but this isn't. This is a Japanese Standard. This was my second Strat I bought when I was about 16, I suppose. In fact, I had a Telecaster that I swapped it for. I saved up all my money from, I had about 3 jobs. And I've had this refretted recently, and I really like playing this one too now. And again, you know, what if I needed to take 2 guitars on a plane? 2 Strats? There they are. I can't sell them for that reason, can I? Anyway, let's move on to the next clip. Now, I think I've shown clips of me playing before with this. This is TJ Davis, not to be confused with TJ Walker. This causes lots of confusion, get people turning up to the gig going, oh, I thought it was the TJ Walker band. Oh, I thought it was the TJ Davis band. Anyway, I was playing with the TJ Davis band, and on this first clip we're playing, can't remember the name of the song, but there's a 335 solo here. These are recorded from the audio on the camera, so not as good as the other ones, but check this out. So I've already mentioned these, but I'm going to show you these. My bass guitar, this monstrosity, is actually a very nice bass guitar, and I bought this many years ago, and it was cheap. I can't think why. Can't think why they were having trouble selling it. This is Old Yeller. The track that you hear at the beginning of the each of my videos is Old Yeller. I'm named that track. So it's a Larive, and this is exactly the same as I've found a video of Europe playing the Final Countdown. I think it's that song, or certainly around that era, playing one of their songs. And the bass player and guitarist have got matching versions of this guitar in white, though. They didn't go for the custard yellow finish. So obviously I've got to have a bass. It's got precision and jazz pickups on, and that has been on all of my recordings I've ever done, because that was the only bass I had until recently. And obviously you've got to have one of these, and I've done videos on these, which is quite popular. This is my bass 6. Again, don't get to play this very often, but you've got to have it, haven't you? What are you going to do if you get a call to do a bass 6 track? Anyway, on to the next video. Here's a little clip of me playing my Van Halen guitar, which I'm going to show you in a second. I hadn't played it for ages and I was feeling guilty. It was looking a bit lonely. So here's a little clip of me playing You're So Vain, Carly Simon, doing a solo, strangely, on a Van Halen guitar. So here's that guitar, and I bought this about a year ago, and I have to say this really got me back into playing. And I've got my Marshall amp here now, which I got out, which was my first ever Marshall I bought in the 80s, the only ever Marshall I bought, and I hadn't used it for years. Plugged it in, it'd been in the garage for years, plugged it in, worked perfectly, didn't have to do anything to it, gigged it since. Plugged this into it, and it really kind of inspired me. I got so much back into Van Halen. It was kind of after he died, it reignited my passion for their music. And I bought this guitar. I've done videos on this guitar as well. And this is actually, it's a lovely guitar. It's a strange guitar. It's got a very narrow neck that way. But I needed this really high output pickups, much more so than the humbuckers on here. It's got the tremolo arm, which they haven't got, so another justification for having it. And it looks really nice. Now, here's the one guitar I can't justify. I'm going to show you this one. I always wanted one of these, and I couldn't justify it. But my 50th birthday was at the end of last year, and I said I'd love to have one of these. So this is my one I absolutely can't justify. I've got this just because I want it, but I do gig it and I love it. I don't know why. It's a weird thing, but I absolutely love this guitar. Well, I'm going to show you another video. This was from a wedding the other day, and this guitar, I haven't shown you this one. This guitar I bought when my first daughter was born. I was really getting into, what's his name? Scotty Anderson. Does that amazing sort of picking with the thumb pick and stuff, and he had a Telecaster with a humbucker there, and I thought, well, I've got my Danny Gatton Telecaster, but that's just got the sort of, they're not even standard Telecaster pickups on that. Luckily I've got a Paisley Telecaster which I use for Elvis. That's the justification for that one. So I wanted one with a humbucker on. I didn't win this guitar on eBay, and then the guy got let down and I got a second opportunity to buy it. And I was very pleased with that because it only cost me 1,300 quid second hand, and these new, I don't know what they go for now. I know the Strats can go for about 7 grand. I don't think these do, but anyway, very glad I bought this, so that justifies this. So I'm going to show you me playing an AC/DC song on this. not sure how many of my other guitars I'm going to drag out. I've got 2 acoustic guitars that I gig on. I don't gig on my Martin. This is my Martin, and this is what I use for recording all acoustics. And I've had this 25 years, this Martin. I bought it brand new. And this is a lovely guitar, and this is my one I grab at home when I'm playing acoustic. But I don't use it live. It has got a pickup in, but for live, I've got guitars that are better suited to it. I've got a Maton, Tommy Emmanuel one, and I've got a Takamine, which I use live. So they're great guitars. I've also got a Tyler Strat. Again, I didn't buy that very expensive. That one I can justify because it's got a humbucker and 2 single coils, which none of my other guitars have got. Anyway, have I won you over and justified my guitar collection by playing 6 last week? I've got 1 video left to show you, and that's playing, what am I playing on that one? On my Danny Gatton Telecaster. There's a little bit of rock and roll to finish. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I've justified my guitar collection. I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I won't go over, maybe next week I'll have to justify my different amplifiers I've got. I'm looking at 4 of them now, and I know there's some others tucked away somewhere. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I bring new videos out every Friday at 7 PM, so I hope to see you next week.